Wynn University is a company that I started a couple of years ago where I actually help people in personal growth and development, helping people realize their potential. And today I want to share something with you that I believe for some of you, when you leave this room, I believe you're going to be different. I think some of you are going to hear something today that's going to change you and you didn't even expect to be changed. But something's going to happen to somebody in this room today, and it is going to change your life. Somebody say, I will be the one who will be transformed today. Now I'm big on energy, so I need you to say it with your chest. Say, I am the one. There we go. Who will be transformed today. All right, do we have that written on paper? What you want to be with, what you want to do with your life? Everybody wrote that down? Yes, sir. All right, I need one you. You've been nominated. Do me a favor, you and you. You two help me. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Help me collect those. These two gentlemen here, they are going to come and collect those expeditiously. We're writing down what we want to be, what we want to do with our lives. And if you will, put your name on it. All right, with that other piece of paper, I want you to write this at the top of that piece of paper. Empty or full? Empty or full? Write that at the top of your other piece of paper. Empty or full? Let me hear you say empty, or full. Say it with your chest. Empty, or full? All right. Now, we have on here, I won't read the names, I'll just read about 3 of these. It says, I want to be an NBA or NFL player. Another one says, when I grow up, I want to be in the military. Awesome. And we'll just pick one more randomly. See a lot of NFL and a lot of NBA players here. A lot of them. Here's one. When I become a full-grown adult, I want to get my master's degree and become a doctor. Fantastic. Now, I could read these and go on, but for the sake of time, I have in my hand the things that you want to do with your life, written on paper. The things that you say you want to do with your life when you become adults. I said a few minutes ago that this does not begin when you become an adult. This begins right here, right now at Huntington Middle School. Now, what you see on this table is a box that I bought, but it's not really a box. I want you to use your imagination because today this box represents a casket. Everybody say the box represents a casket. Let's do it better than that. Say this box represents my casket. Cool. I'm going to open up your casket. Please pay attention. Mouths closed, ears open. I'm opening up your casket, and guess what I'm putting in your casket? All of the things that you said you want to be when you become an adult. Doctor, lawyer, NBA player, teacher, firefighter, policeman, whatever it is you wrote down. Where am I putting it? I'm putting it in your casket. Now I want you to say this, Pastor. Why would you put my dreams in my casket? What's the name of this lesson today? Empty or full? The reason why I put your dreams in this makeshift casket today is because I want to share something with you that I heard Miles Monroe say many, many years ago when he was alive, and it really, really transformed my life. Dr. Miles Monroe said that the wealthiest place in every city in the world is not the bank. The wealthiest place in any city in the world is the cemetery. How many of you know where a cemetery is right now? I pass one almost every single day, and believe it or not, there are times that I will actually go and park my car in the cemetery and just sit and meditate. The reason I do that is because Dr. Miles Monroe said that the reason why the cemetery is the wealthiest place in the world, in any city, is because in that cemetery are buried people's hopes, people's dreams, and people's ambitions. There are books that were never written in that cemetery. There are businesses that were never started in that cemetery. There are families that never came to fruition. In other words, those families never came to be. Why? Because the person who was going to start that family or start that business or write that book died before they had the opportunity. Or the truth of the matter is, a lot of people in the cemetery simply wasted their time. A lot of people in the cemetery had opportunities, just like you have opportunities, maybe to come to school and get an education and to better yourself, but some people chose to play. Some people chose to not listen. Some people chose to be a bad person. And time ran out on them, and all of their dreams were buried, in the casket. Where's the wealthiest place in the world? Say it back to me. That's called potential. Somebody say potential. Say this with me. I have potential. Say it with your chest. I have potential. Now I want you to hear this, but don't repeat it, but receive it. Your potential is your wealth. I want you to get that in your cerebral cortex, aka your brain. Your potential is your wealth. Oh, I see how you're looking at me. You're not quite sure what potential is. Potential is what you can be. Potential is what you can do, but you've yet to do it. Potential is that greatness that's inside of you that you have yet to tap in. And I want you to know this. This is a fact. Every single one of you is filled with potential. When I was your age, I did not know I had potential, and I could not believe I had potential because I struggled with things like low self-esteem. I struggled with believing in myself. I struggled with loving myself because, if I could be honest with you, I was not one of the cool kids when I was in school. I looked nothing like I look today. I was the odd man out. While everybody else was playing football and basketball and running track, I was in band. And you know, being in band in my day was just not cool. And I think back over my life, and I counted a blessing not being one of the cool kids. Never thought I would, but I do now, because some of you are so busy trying to be cool that you're too cool for school. You're so busy getting dressed in the morning trying to make sure your Air Force Ones are tight that your brain is not where it needs to be. So you're coming to school, getting an education, but you're not receiving an education, and you leave this place the same way you came. And you're going to look back over your life and you're going to wish you had paid attention. I know it's cool now to be a clown and make everybody laugh and not do your homework and, just kind of disobey the rules. I know it's cool right now, but what you got to understand is everything you wrote on a piece of paper, all these dreams that you have, they don't just come to pass because you want them to come to pass. You don't just get to be a doctor because you wrote it on paper. You don't get to be rich because you saw a rapper who looked like he was rich and you say, well, one day I'm going to be a rapper. And let me tell you this, you don't just get to go to the NFL or the NBA just because you're good. No, you got to do more than just be good. And the truth of the matter is, if we can be honest, even though you got potential, most of you in this room are average. Now, I know that may sound offensive. It may not sound like a nice thing to say, but I'm going to keep it 100 with you, because first I give you the truth. Then I show you how to change your life. What do you mean I'm average? You just told me that I had potential. What do you mean I'm average? You just told me that potential is wealth. You're not average because you have to be. You're average because you're choosing to be. You're average because you're not pushing yourself. You're average because you're not the best that you can be. I don't believe that any of you have maxed out your abilities. Your teachers know how smart you are. Your principal knows how smart you are. Why do you think they keep pushing you? Why do you think they just won't throw in the towel and say, you know what, forget Pookie them, forget Ray them, forget them, I don't care about them. Why do they keep pushing you? I'll tell you why they push you. Because they see your greatness. They see your greatness in the midst of your averageness. They see your greatness in the midst of your laziness. They see your greatness in the midst of your stubbornness. They see it. The problem is you don't see it. You don't see it, just like I didn't see it until I started looking for it. Here's what I'm going to tell you. You can do great things with your life. But if I'm going to be real with you, potential will not do it. Potential is something you can die with. Have you ever known anybody that had a lot of potential? In other words, they had a lot of gifts, a lot of abilities. They were smart, they were talented, but they didn't really do anything with their life. I just want you to look through your family. Don't raise your hand. I just want you to search those family functions you go to. Everybody's got an Uncle Joe. Now, he may not be Joe, but Uncle Joe could have been a lot more than he wound up being. Everybody's got an Aunt Sally. Name may not be Sally, but she could have done more with her life than she did, but she didn't tap into her potential. I want you to say this with me. Say, I am. I am. Say it with your chest. I am. I am. I am. I am. Full of potential. Say, what is potential, Pastor Troy? Untapped power. unused success, concealed power, and please catch this, it's who you are that you have yet to be. Here's what I need you to know. Potential is never what you've done. Potential is what you could do. How much smarter could you be in class? How much could you improve your grades if you simply paid attention, turned in your homework assignments, and got serious about your life? How much more? A little bit or a lot? I submit to you the answer is a lot. And what you need to recognize today is this cemetery that I'm talking about is full of people just like you. What y'all got to recognize is that this world is changing. I've never seen so many people, young people, dying as fast as young people are dying. I've never seen it. I'm a pastor, so I'm always seeing people dying. I'm always doing funerals. And young people like you are dying every single day because you don't recognize, and I'm going to tell you the truth, this world is trying to kill you. And I know that sounds crass. That sounds a little aggressive, Pastor, but you'll never say I didn't tell you. This world is trying to kill you. You say, Pastor, ain't nobody trying to kill me. This whole world is trying to kill you. How is it trying to kill me? Listen to the songs that they put on the radio for you to sing. Listen to the music that you listen to every single day. I know the beats are tight and I know they make you want to dance, but sometimes you ought to print out the lyrics. They've got you calling yourself negative things. They've got you calling women negative things. They've got you fantasizing about getting high and getting drunk and robbing this person and stealing from this person. And you're singing about it every single day, almost as if, hey, that's just a song, Pastor. Let me tell you something about your mind. Whatever you listen to over and over again, your life starts to gravitate towards. This world is trying to kill you. The reason why I say this world is trying to kill you because there's somebody somewhere who knows that you're full of potential. I think about an apple seed. Somebody say an apple seed. Anybody like apples? Next time you eat an apple, look at the seed. I hope you don't eat the seed. When you eat an apple, look at the seed. And when you look at that apple seed, tell me, what do you see? What do you see? Just shout out what you see when you look at an apple seed. Do you see, what'd you say? You see a lot?
They said black.
It's black. Okay, you see it's black. Okay, that's one thing you see. What else do you see when you see the apple seed? A seed. A shell. Can I tell you what I see? In that seed is a tree. It's not just a seed. That seed has a tree, but catch this. That tree has an endless supply of other apples. Those apples, this is good to me, has an endless supply of other seeds. You say, Pastor Troy, what does that have to do with me? You are the apple. The potential, that's your seed. And some of you, if you're not careful, you're going to leave this planet as just a simple seed. Could have been more, could have had more, could have achieved more, but because you didn't allow yourself to grow, you're going to be born a seed, you're going to die a seed. A broke seed, a lonely seed, a mean seed, an angry seed, a baby making seed, a weed smoking seed. Tell your neighbor, I don't want to be that kind of seed. Now, if the apple has a seed that's more than just a seed, how many of you need to understand that inside you there is so much more? How many of y'all understand that? Clap if you understand that there is more to you. Thank you. I want you to get this today. By the time I was 19 years old, I was an alcoholic. By the time I was 22 years old, I had tried to commit suicide 3 times because all I saw for my life was a life of failure. All I saw for my life was a life of poverty because I never heard anybody tell me what I'm telling you, that there is potential inside of you, but you got to get focused and you got to believe in yourself and you got to do the work to better yourself. I stand here today as living proof that you can turn your life around, as living proof that you can be more than people ever thought you could be. But you got to recognize I am the seed, but inside of me there are trees, and inside of those trees are many apples. What does that simply mean? You've got to get focused. Time is running out for every single one of you. Few years you're going to be graduating from high school if you matriculate, if you go through the proper grades and you make it that far. And people say, yeah, when I graduate high school, I'm going to be grown. You're not grown until you can take care of yourself. You're not grown if you're still living with your mom and you're 40. Grown means I can stand on my own. Let me just skip to the chase. Is anybody in here desiring to live with your mama for the rest of your life? If you are, your brain needs to be checked, because you ought to desire to have your own. You ought to desire not just to have your own, but you ought to desire to have so much that you can bless somebody else. That's what my whole life evolves around. And in this room are people who have the ability. I'm talking about you, young people that are looking at me. You've got the ability to become amazing. I hope that there's somebody in this room that one day will come back to Huntington Middle School and say to every teacher and every principal, thank you for pushing me. Yes, I was hard-headed. Yes, I was a pain in the neck. Yes, I was a problematic child, but I want to thank you for pushing me, because I heard a message on that day where you brought Pastor Troy to speak to me, and I was one of those people who recognized that I was full of potential and I didn't want to take my dreams to the grave. What's the wealthiest place in the world? Cemetery. And some of you are going to make a deposit there if you're not careful. What deposit? Your dreams, your hopes. Oh, I hear you. I hear you. I hear you. I hear you. Oh, Pastor Troy, you don't know my situation. I come from a poor family. I basically take care of myself, Pastor Troy. There's nobody feeding me. There's nobody really watching over me. There's nobody really caring for me, Pastor Troy. I have to get up and come to school on my own, and if I don't, it's no sweat to nobody in my house. I hear you. But let me tell you something about a seed. A seed understands that the power is on the inside of it. The seed understands that everything I need has already been put inside of me. And if I could get you to embrace that today, that everything you need right here in this box that you want to be, guess what? It's already inside of you. But you got to work with yourself. How many of you will admit that you could work a little harder to work with yourself to become a better person? Clap if you will agree with that. Moment of truth. Ask your neighbor, how will you die? Don't answer, let me answer that. Will you die a statistic, or will you die a success? Say, how will you die? Listen to me. Will you die getting high, or will you die going high? Say, how will you die? I like this one. Will you die full, or will you die empty? You want to die empty. Let me teach you. You want to die empty. You know why you want to die empty? You want to die empty because you've gotten all your hopes out. You got all your dreams out. You got all your business ideas out. That's my goal, to die empty. That when they bury me, they will say he did everything he wanted to do. He did everything he said he was going to do. When I tell you guys this, brothers and sisters, there is no limit to what you can do if you put your mind to it. And I know that sounds like a cliche, but I'm here to tell you there is no limit to what you can do if you put your mind to it. But what you're going to have to do is you have to hook up with the right kind of seeds. Everybody ain't going to be a good friend for you. Everybody that you dapping up with and laughing with and calling your homeboy and your homegirl may not help your seed grow. And at some place in life, you got to understand that if I don't get myself together, I'm going to be dumb and I'm going to be dead, and all of my dreams are going to be gone. How will you die? Empty or full? Say empty. Empty. How will you die? Empty. How will you die? Empty. Say, I will be more than a basic bottom feeder. Who knows what a bottom feeder is? Anybody fish? Who likes to fish in this room? Believe it or not, I may not look like it, but I love fishing. One of my favorite pastimes is to go fishing. My mind relaxes when I can get out on the lake. And whenever I get ready to go fishing, I just walk out my backyard and stand on my dock. And I toss a hook and I catch bass and brim anytime I get ready. One of the things about fishing, though, there are all kinds of fish. Catfish are what we call bottom feeders. And I ain't got no hate on the catfish. But the catfish is different from the bass, because the bass will oftentimes look up when it's ready to feed. But that old catfish, because the way it's been designed by God himself, He has to look down when it's time to feed. Not only does the catfish look down when it's time to feed, but his mouth is actually on the bottom of his face. Somebody say, I'm not a catfish.
I'm not a catfish.
Say it again, I'm not a catfish.
I'm not a catfish.
You are if your mouth is on the bottom. You are if you're in the bottom scale of the classroom. You are if you're the worst behavioral student in this school. So you can have on the flyest Nikes and the baddest outfit every single day. But if you're on the bottom, the truth of the matter is you're choosing to be a bottom feeder. Here's the good news though. Just like you can choose to come to school and not do what you're supposed to do, you can choose to come to school and do what you're supposed to do. You can choose to come to school tomorrow like a brand new person who's got a brand new mind, who's coming to school for one thing, and that's to get an education so you can better yourself and not bury yourself in your dreams. How are you going to come to school tomorrow? I'm curious, is anybody hearing what I'm saying today? I started to bring a mirror in here and hold it in front of your face so you could really get a picture of who I'm talking to, because this is not just another conversation where the school brings a speaker in and you listen to the speaker and you go about your way the way that you entered in this room. Somebody in here is going to change today. I don't know who it is, but I know somebody's going to change today, because whenever I speak, whenever I use my gift, always there's at least one who says, man, I don't know what got into me, but I don't want to be dumb anymore. I don't want to be stupid anymore. I don't want to be rebellious anymore. I don't want it to be at the bottom of my class anymore, because I heard today I'm full of potential. I heard today that I can actually do something with my life no matter where I came from. You determine your future, not your friends, unless you let them. You determine your future. How many of you want to do some good things in life? How many of you want to bless other people? How many of you want to write checks and make differences? Well, listen to me, brothers and sisters, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, cats, dogs, and squirrels. Listen to me. You gotta get focused. Somebody say, I gotta get focused. Say this with me. A broken focus creates a broken future. Let that marinate for a few seconds. What does that mean, Pastor Troy? When your focus is broken, you don't realize that right here, right now at Huntington Middle School, you are creating your future. Every day you come to class, you're creating your future. Right here at Huntington Middle School, you're building your future. How is that possible? Because if you don't do what you're supposed to do, how are you going to have an amazing future? You just think the NFL is just going to call you one day and say, hey, we got an opening. Come join the team. You think the NBA is just going to call you out of the blue and say, hey, I heard you wanted to be an NBA basketball player. We heard you wrote it on a piece of paper one day. Come and join our team. It doesn't happen that way. You think a law school is going to call you and say, hey, we heard you wanted to be a lawyer. Come on. We recruit lawyers. Nah, none of that stuff happens until you do the work. And if you do the work, I just want to tell you, if you do the work, your life can be amazing. But if you don't do the work, your life is going to be a mess. Give me a clap if you got half of what I just said. If you do the work, your life can be what? If you don't do the work, your life's going to be what? Say this with me. I can pay now, so I can play later, or I can play now, but I'll have to pay later. Did anybody catch that? Let's try it one more time. I can pay now, so I can play later, or I can play now, but I'll have to pay later. You got it. Here's the moment of truth. The reason why you're sitting in this room, let me keep it 100 with you plus 5, is because you're playing now. That's why we have been gathered here today. That's why you have been selected. You did not win a lottery. You're here because you are playing now. But you ought to be glad that somebody cared enough There are school systems where nobody cares how much you play as long as they get a paycheck. But you got some folks in this school who actually care about your future enough to say, we got to do something. We got to bring somebody else in to say the same thing we've been saying all along. I know I ain't saying nothing new. You've heard everything I've said in one shape, form, or fashion. But sometimes just by bringing somebody in that you don't know, somebody in that looks a little different, somebody in that grabs your attention, there's a chance that you might just listen today and say, you know what? I'm feeling that dude. I need you to understand this, that today is your day. Question is, what are you going to do? Are you going to grow up or are you going to throw up? I'll say it again because some of you missed it. Today's your day. You going to grow up or are you going to throw up? Grow up. Okay, I see some folks in the back kind of confused. What do you mean, Pastor Troy? Am I going to grow up or throw up? If you grow up, you mature. If you throw up, everything that they put in you, knowledge, wisdom, education, love, you just regurgitate it and it comes out of you and you get no benefit from it. Don't throw up, grow up. Because the day is your day to make sure you die empty. Say with me, I will die empty. I will die empty. Doctor, I want to say this before I go. I said something and I just want to quantify it. In other words, I want to highlight it so that you walk out of here with it. I said that this world is trying to kill you. Did I not say that? That was a pretty bold, aggressive statement, but I stand by it. I'll tell you why this world is trying to kill you. This world is trying to kill you because it's easier. Please don't miss this. It's easier to kill a seed than it is to chop down a tree. I'm going to say it one more time, but somebody's got to catch that. It's easier, oh, this is good, to kill a seed than it is to chop down a tree. You got a seed, all you got to do is snuff it out. A tree takes a lot of work. And I'm telling you today that there are powers that be that are trying to destroy you before you ever become that tree. Don't let this world kill you. Become the tree, make a difference, and be the tree that has an impact in this world. Now give yourself a hand, because I'm done for real, for real. Thank y'all for your undivided attention. You've been an amazing audience. Thank you.